All right, thank you. The Committee on Parole is reconvening. It's 9:33 a.m. on August 13th, 2025. My name is Cheryl Renata, serving as chair of today's parole panel. And our remote location at this time is at Allen Correctional Center. Good morning, Warden. Would you and your staff introduce yourself?
Good morning. Keith Cooley, Facility Warden.
Crystal Simon, Assistant Warden.
Jessica Manual, classifications.
Kathy Manuel as a supporter.
All right, thank y'all. Thanks for having us today. And we have Mr. Daigle. Mr. Daigle, would you introduce yourself to the panel?
Good morning. My name is Darren Daigle, DOC 451360.
And we have here with us in Baton Rouge your attorney. Would you introduce yourself for the record, please? You can just.
Okay, like a slow, we down.
And your brother Jason is also here with us in Baton Rouge this morning.
There's brother.
Thank you for being here. And you see on Zoom we have the Parole Project, Mr. Kerry Myers, and Jeremy, another brother, is on Zoom. And so we also have some opposition representing, we have Miss April Jones and Susan Wanage. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that name, who are here on Zoom in opposition. First, Mr. Daigle, you've been through the process before, so you kind of know how it works. It may be a little different this time. I'm going to read the identifying information into the record, and then we'd like to hear your statement.
Yes, ma'am.
What it is, that you did for the record, and, why do you think we ought to vote favorably for you today? We'll hear from the warden, and then we'll turn it over, and for those who want to speak in behalf, and we'll let Ms. Sloan close it out for us.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Mr. Daigle, you are classified as a first felony offender. You're currently serving a 32-year sentence in Calcasieu Parish in March of 2002 for second-degree kidnapping. You received a 32-year sentence, and attempted manslaughter. That was a 20-year sentence, and those are running concurrently. Your parole eligibility date was March 25th, 2025, and your good time date has been adjusted to June 5th, 2027. Is that information correct?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
Right. So we'd like to hear your statement.
Yes, ma'am. The fact of the matter in my case is plain. I went to the victim's place of employment regretfully and wrongfully. I was armed with a dangerous weapon, and I did in fact commit the offense of attempted manslaughter by choking the victim with an electrical cord. Secondly, I did also in fact commit the offense of second-degree kidnapping when I held the victim against her own free will while armed with this dangerous weapon during the commission of a crime. And last but not least, I did in fact commit the offense of simple battery upon a second victim who was a co-worker of the first victim. She tried to intervene in the situation, and she was accidentally hit with the weapon. My actions and my crime was a total stupidity and selfishness. It was downright senseless, and I'm still ashamed of it. And I do want to be clear, if I may, ladies and gentlemen, about acts and the crimes of violence must never be tolerated or accepted in our society. There's simply no place for it. I would like to add that over the last 25 years, I still can't come with the words to express the sorrow, regret, remorse, and the most sincerest and deepest apologies for my actions and for my crime and what it did to the victims physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially. The list goes on. And I want this Honorable Committee on Parole to also recognize that I'm fully aware of the magnitude and the severity of my actions and the domino-like effect and the ripple effect that it caused on many others. Even my family were innocent victims due to my stupidity and selfishness, and my community. It's safe to say I failed a lot of people. And I would just like to ask the board to look at the computer screen at those in attendance today, whether in opposition or in favor. Look closely at the people involved in it, as well as the people before you today. This is not even 10% of the lives that Derek Daigle damaged, ruined, and destroyed or tore apart due to the trail of destruction as in my crime. And what's worse and just as sickening is 25 years later, the aftermath has been just as difficult to watch. And I want to put it bluntly, and excuse my French, I'm not going to go all board, but I was a blank and you know what for doing what I did. And that's all I have for that particular question, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, well, you prepared well for that.
It's just from the heart.
Warden, what can you tell us about Mr. Daigle?
Mr. Rodolph, I'll just speak to his incarceration. As Derek indicated, he's been here since actually 2002. He's done most of his time here at Allen. During that time, he's been no significant disciplinary problems to us at all. Back in 2004, early on in his incarceration, he did have one minor disciplinary report for aggravated disobedience. He's been active in programs since his time here, completing everything required. You know, and like I said, he's done his sentence well. I can say that on behalf of inmate Daigle.
Thank you, sir. Can we hear from Mr. Myers, the Parole Project, please?
Yes, good morning. Kerry Myers with Louisiana Parole Project. We're here to let the board know that we've accepted Derek Daigle as our client. Derek acting to our attention about 4 years ago through multiple people, through family, through supporters, through state officials, through multiple people because of Derek. Because Derek today, the person before you today, there's a significant difference between the 20-year-old man in crisis 25 years ago and the person who Derek actually is. Derek is a true first offender. He committed a crime. There's a distinct difference between someone whose actions were criminal and someone who has criminal mentality. Derek obviously does not have criminal mentality. He served more than 25 years, or right at 25 years of his sentence, which is about 3/4 of his sentence. Parole Project is prepared to support Derek through his transition, through whatever conditions the board determines. He is also, as you've seen, when Derek started his rehabilitation, upon his incarceration, long before Derek thought or there was any chance that Derek would be parole eligible. We're prepared to work with Derek for his, for as long or whatever conditions this board would set forth. Derek has no intentions of ever residing in Calcasieu Parish again. He will work with our social work staff immediately upon release to get another evaluation. While he does have offers of employment, Derek will also work with our employment enhancement team to make sure he has gainful employment. And we would just ask this board to consider Derek's extensive record of accomplishments while he was in prison, his essentially lack of disciplinary problems, his own remorse. And Derek is prepared. Derek has prepared himself for this day. He's recognized his actions. He's prepared himself. And so we'd ask this board to grant his parole.
All right, thank you. Thank you. We'll hear from Mr. Jason Daigle. Jason?
All right. Thank you for allowing me to come speak with you today. My name is Jason Daigle, and I'm 40 years old, and I'm Derek's youngest brother. If Derek is granted parole, he will be coming home to live with me, my wife, and our 2 children, who are ages 9 and 5 years old. As all of you by now read my letter detailing why I believe Derek should be approved for parole, I want to take the time now to share exactly what his living situation will look like and how we will be there to support him every single day. Our home is safe, stable, and family oriented. My wife and I have been married now for, 12 or 11 years, and we've worked hard to create an environment built on love, structure, and mutual respect. We live in Denton Springs, Louisiana, and I work as a regional manager in the retail industry. We are financially secure, which means Derek will never have to worry about the basics. Roof over his head, food on the table. For transportation to work, programs are appointed. He will walk into a home that is calm, consistent, and filled with people who want to see him succeed. But more than providing a place to live, we'll be giving him the foundation for success. From day one, Derek will have clear expectations. Follow the rules of our home, maintain a productive daily routine, and seek steady employment, contribute to our household, and meet all parole requirements without exception. My wife and I are on the same page with this. We will not shy away from holding Derek accountable. That means being involved in his daily routines, having ongoing conversations about his progress, and making sure his actions align with his commitments. At the same time, we'll be there supporting him. We understand that reentry is not easy. There will be challenges along the way. That's why we will provide encouragement, guidance, and help him navigate those challenges in a healthy, constructive way. In our home, Derek will know that we're always in his corner, but he's also going to know that accountability will never take a back seat to comfort. Derek will also have the benefit of being surrounded by family who love him, including 2 young children who absolutely adore their uncle. They met him, they know him, they talk about him, they make a list of things they'd like to do with him. That list is extremely long, by the way. And they look forward to his phone calls every single week as it stands now. I do believe their presence will give him an extra sense of purpose and a daily reminder of why it's worth staying on track. I can promise you this, if Derek is granted parole, he will not just be released. He will be stepping into a strong, close-knit, and committed support system that will work tirelessly to help him succeed, and we will hold him to the highest of standards. We are ready for Derek, and we believe he's ready for this next chapter. Lastly, I'd like to leave this panel with this. When a person is born, they have 18 years to become an adult by society's standards. That's 18 years to learn, 18 years to grow, and 18 years to prepare for life. The state of Louisiana has had Derek for close to the last 25 years to rehabilitate him. In that time, he has grown, he's learned, and he's prepared himself for life beyond those walls. I believe with all my heart that time and work is now done. And now it's time to let him live it. Thank you for considering.
Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Sloan?
Ms. Patton, the facility want to speak?
Okay, is there someone there that wants to speak at the facility?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Kathy Manuel is here in support.
All right, thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't have that on my list. Go ahead, ma'am.
Good morning, my name is Kathy Manuel and I'm the Executive Director of OASIS, the Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency here in our Southwest Louisiana. And for the last 13 years, Derek got started programs up here at Allen Correctional through us. I've been coming up here with my staff doing events with inmates on a regular basis before the COVID hit and the hurricanes and things like that. But since that, we've also done classes. We do them every other week. And Derek helps facilitate that. He got those started. He went to the administration here to get those things going with us. He very openly shares his crime with the other offenders in those classes and his remorse for that and taking accountability. And recently one of his brothers was murdered due to a domestic violence situation. And he openly talks about that now, how he sees from the victim's point of view, how that affects the family. I fully believe that Derek is a completely different person than he was when he committed his crime. I know that I've seen him grow over the last 13 years and just listening to him. He is more involved with our agency than most men out in the free society, which is one thing that he and I have discussed a lot, of him being able to assist the different domestic violence agencies across our state from his point of view to get men involved and to stand up for victims of domestic violence and sexual assault. And I just hope that you see the same person that we see before you today and grant his release.
Well, thank you very much for sharing those thoughts with us. We appreciate it.
Like a slum of the Louisiana Parole Project on behalf of Derek Davis. At this point, you've already heard a lot about Mr. Daigle, but there's some additional things about him and the accomplishments that he's done over the past 25 years. First, you've heard a little bit about the Oasis program from this manual, but I just wanted to take some time to emphasize the importance and the impact that that program has had in the knowledge of parties of California. This committee is well aware that many people who are incarcerated in Louisiana become incarcerated following their involvement in instances of domestic and sexual violence. Yet there are very few opportunities for those folks to engage in specific training or programming related to this very widespread issue. Derek Daigle recognized that unfortunate gap, and he took action to rectify it. He started by raising money for victims of domestic violence and organizing presentations by his manual. But as an extremely regretful perpetrator of domestic violence himself, Mr. Daigle knew that both he and his community needed more. So Mr. Daigle, with the help of this manual and with the administration at Allen, created a domestic and sexual violence awareness and prevention course that he and other offenders have passed. Though it earns a no good time credit, he's been co-facilitating this program for the past 6 years. And this is a course that is not only focused on self-help for the participants, it's focused on public safety, victim impact, and harm reduction. So Mr. Daigle didn't just participate in programming to support his rehabilitation, he helped create it. And he didn't just work to make change in himself, he worked to make a change in his community as well. And that to me is a true testament of this. I just want the board to be aware of the incredible work that's happening at Allen, and take a moment to personally thank the Allen staff, this manual, and Mr. Daigle for creating and sustaining this really important program. Mr. Daigle has been remorseful for his actions since the moment he came to the notice. When he first met his defense attorney after he'd been arrested, he asked for the opportunity to apologize to the victims and to everyone who had been involved. Understandably, his lawyer advised him to wait until after his case was adjudicated, but after his sentencing, he took the time to express his heartfelt regret. He told the court he was wrong, ashamed, that he was sorry for the physical and emotional pain, embarrassment, and fear he caused his victims, law enforcement, and his community. Those were his words, and that was 23 years ago, in 2002. The remorse and reflection that he expresses to you today are the same sentiments that he has sat with for the past 25 years. And will continue to feel forever. As you see in his records, Mr. Daigle has taken his punishment and his rehabilitation very seriously. He presents with a long list of programs that we've both taken and facilitated. He's held just about every job there is to have at Allen, including those that are reserved for the most trusted offenders there. And as you've heard, he's earned only one disciplinary infraction in all of his 25 years, which occurred 21 years ago, when he was out of place in restroom 30. Mr. Daigle has served the entirety of his sentences for his attempted manslaughter and civil battery convictions, and over 75% of his sentence was taken. If Mr. Daigle is denied parole today, based on the current calculation, he will be released in about 20 months. However, if he's granted parole today, he will re-enter the community with a longer period of parole supervision and a discipline. Having heard the concerns of the victim and her family in the previous hearings, Mr. Daigle and I believe there, they are uncomfortable with the process. But we hope that a longer period of parole supervision and the involvement of the parole project will bring some semblance of peace and comfort to the victim and the family as they grapple with his inevitable loss. In consideration of the victim and her family, Mr. Daigle has also chosen a post-parole project residency plan outside of Lake Charles. Mr. Daigle has learned through internal reflection, through programming, through personal experience, now the lasting impacts that incidences of violence, and particularly domestic violence, can have. As Ms. Manuel mentioned, just 3 months ago, Mr. Daigle lost his love and breath to an incident of domestic violence when he was tragically killed by the mother. From this awful experience, Mr. Daigle has grown an even deeper understanding of how it feels to be a victim of a violent crime and the impact of his own violent actions. As you can see and you've read in letters of support, Mr. Daigle has a wonderful and supportive family who are eager to support him as he transitions back into the community and to keep him in case. Even from prison, Mr. Daigle has been an excellent father and role model to his son, Derek Jr., having missed key moments in his early life to reunite Derek Jr. and Derek Sr. Mr. Daigle also maintains a positive relationship with Derek Jr.'s mother and her family, who think very highly of Mr. Daigle and are also willing to support him, as you can see in their letter of support. Mr. Daigle's parents asked that I let the committee know that they are watching today on YouTube, They are extremely proud of Derek's exhibited maturity and capacity to take responsibility, and having lost a son recently, they have special interest in Derek's home. Mr. Daigle has done everything that he can do from within the confines of prison to prove that he is remorseful for his actions, he is rehabilitated, and he is well prepared to re-enter the community as a responsible and a peaceful citizen. And as far as responsibility, I think Mr. Daigle speaks for himself. In my time working with him, he has never hesitated to, without excuse, take ownership for every ounce of problem. So, considering those factors, to keep Mr. Daigle on prison for an additional 2 weeks would serve the only purpose. Given his continued dedication to awareness and prevention of domestic and sexual violence and the positive impact that he's had on his son and his nieces and nephews with whom he plans to live, there's no question that Mr. Daigle will benefit his community. He certainly will. Though Mr. Daigle has gained significant awareness of the impact he has had on the victims through the OASIS program and his personal experience, when the victim awareness course was recently made available to Mr. Daigle, he did enroll. He is currently taking victim awareness, and he's set to complete that course in September. So I mentioned that to say that if the board deems it an appropriate or necessary condition, he would complete that program before he is released. He is happy to do that. In closing, I humbly ask this board to consider all of the important work that Mr. Daigle has done, positive impact he has already had on his community, and his genuine remorse for his friends, and grant him the opportunity to serve for the way for something. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Daigle, your case was assigned to Mrs. Ledoux. Would you answer any questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Mr. Daigle.
Yes, ma'am.
There's not a lot of questions. I mean, everything that I've kind of been wondering about have addressed during the course of this hearing. I'd like for you, if you don't mind, it's not confidential. I'd like for you to state the names of your victims. I want to make sure you know the names.
Yes, ma'am. They're April Jones and they were Catherine Wanage. The long list of others that were in the story, Miss Rickle-Fisson, Miss Herbert or Abear, that was the ones I know for sure that I can recall that were in the story. I mean, I remember it like it was yesterday. But April Jones and Miss Catherine Wanage were the primary victims, ma'am.
You referred to them as the victims, I just want to make sure that, you understand who your victims were. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
You have some law enforcement opposition.
Yes, ma'am.
And you do have some victim opposition
Yes, ma'am.
to your crime. You do have a good time date of 2027.
Yes, ma'am.
And you have earned 495 good time days.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
Is that the max for him, Warden?
It is. Yes, it is, Ms. Ledoux.
It's the max. So you've done everything. You've maxed out on all of your classes, and you're still taking classes even though you don't earn good time.
Yes, ma'am. The max was 360 under Act 1099. I've been at 495 for maybe since 21 or 22. And I'm currently in a couple of classes now. One of them you can get good time, but I do, since you asked the question, I do want to elaborate on something. The good time matters not if you're not willing to change and be the man that you need to be. And that requires it to be a lifestyle. I mean, change and rehabilitation are just words. If there's no action behind it, it doesn't mean anything. And regardless of good time or not, I've wanted my actions since the date of my crime. Regardless of what credit I'm given, I wanted it to reflect my prison record and the evidence of change. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate you letting me answer your question.
I
I would offer my colleagues an opportunity to ask questions and then request to go into executive. They indicated they didn't want to. You have any questions? Okay.
Mr. Meyer said that you had no plans on going back to Calcasieu Parish. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct, and I would like to tell you why, if you have a moment. I think a peaceful resolution to the eventual fact is I'm getting released from prison, obviously. But the most important thing is for the peace of the victim and their families. Listen, I've caused more harm and irreparable harm than I would have ever imagined, thought possible. The easiest way is to, I feel like, sacrifice, and I put the victims first. I really do, because this whole case is about them and my actions and what it did to them. So to relocate 2.5 hours away, I hope that would give them peace and comfort and security and ease any fear that they may have, because I'm certainly not a threat and I want to be able to approve it. And it also gives me the chance to start fresh, sir.
So would you agree to that being a lifetime thing or just the end of your parole thing? How do you feel about that?
Sir, whatever this board seems fit, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make amends for my crime. If that makes the victims and their families comfortable, then honestly, I'll do it. It's not even a question. If
Okay.
that's what you take comfort in, yes, sir.
Thank you.
So, let me just ask, I have one question, Mr. Daigle. I think in reviewing the record, at the time of this offense, you suffered some kind of mental health crisis.
Yes, ma'am.
And so do you currently see mental health?
I haven't in the last 25 years, Ms. Renata. Recently, I mean, I'm always transparent. With the death of my brother, mental health, unrelated to anything else, they did call and interview me about that. Just ask questions that they would do with any other individual, which I truly respected and I appreciated. But again, I want to back off of, yes, there was a mental health issue I was going on at the time, but I would never sit before you and make excuses as to the stupidity and selfish act that I committed. Taking responsibility and owning it and being accountable and changing that. And prison has taught me, and I would love to say this, please let me say this. If it wasn't for the Department of Corrections and the Allen Correctional Center administration, staff, and security, I probably wouldn't be sitting before you today. These people have single-handedly, aside from God and family, these people have single-handedly not only changed, but they saved the life of Derek Daigle due to, there was one constant thing when I woke up each day inside these walls. I was provided with the opportunity to make amends and the opportunity to rehabilitate and change. And if it wasn't for these people, these good people that went above and beyond their job, the Department of Corrections, I wouldn't be here. So thank you for sending me to prison, because that's what I needed. Thank you, ma'am.
All right, I don't see any other questions, Mr. Daigle. Is the panel prepared to vote?
I think I'm prepared to
Mrs.
vote.
Ledoux.
Mr. Daigle, my vote today is to grant parole to the Parole Project for a period of no longer than 3 months to get yourself on your feet, get some stability, and then to your residence plan with your brother. I would like to stipulate on the record that you are not to live in Calcasieu Parish.
Yes, ma'am.
That's not a healthy thing to do, and have no contact with your victims.
Yes, ma'am.
Family.
Yes,
No
ma'am.
Thank you. Mr. Myra.
I'm going to concur with Ms. Ledoux, but I'm going to up that parole project stay for 6 months. I need you to stay minimum of 6 months. And during that time, I want you to get a mental health evaluation and follow up on any recommendations for treatment. You've been through a lot yourself. And that you do not go to Lake Charles, as you said, for the rest of your life.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right, Mr. Daigle, I've seen you before in another setting, but I do agree with my colleagues today based on what we've heard today, what the warden and the staff and the Oasis Project has said about you. I think you've demonstrated sincere remorse. And I like the idea that you're going to be on supervision for a little while before you complete your sentence. So this does not reduce your sentence, but we're just going to let you out in the community for a while.
I would say that somebody needs to bring him a surf and turf from Daryl's. If he cannot go back to Calcasieu Parish, that would be.
All right, good luck, Mr. Daigle.
Thank you, Committee on Parole. Thank you and God bless.
And Warden, that concludes our business at Alla. We're going to sign off. It's 10:04. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Well, Derek, I go to Baton Rouge all the time, so I'll get you the surf and turf.